Folks, this is a good show already. It has just started. Let me just tell you, I've been talking behind the scenes with my guests. You guys know this, the Technologist Forum, where I bring people and we talk about the news, we talk about everything from consumer and enterprise technology perspective. I got two of the co-founders from Fourth Wall. I'm trying not to be too cheesy and wear all of my own merch, but I got to wear my merch because it's hosted and powered by that platform. Let's get into this, man. This is going to be a good session. Okay. See, I don't even know how to start or where to start, but I got two of the coolest kids in the classroom right there. Will and Eli, what's going on, y'all?
What's up, James? One, we're both pumped to be here. James and I have been DMing for a while trying to set this up, and it was around 2-3 months of back and forth trying to find the right day at the holidays. But thrilled to be joining you live today. Roped in Eli as well, who is also excited to share a bit of his story as well. I'll let you give kind of a quick spiel if you want. Or
Yeah, no, excited to be here and some of your questions instead of where our conversation takes us. So very excited.
Man. I love it. I've got folks that are jumping in the comments already, and shouts out to
I
the
see it.
community.
Yeah.
Well, they are purchasers of gear. So Shirley's in the building. She's probably wearing her focus hat. My man Gary Cox is my chief moderator. Listen, there's a lot of folks that are going to be listening and watching. We are on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. Then I'm gonna pull this down for the audio. But if you're not here for the video, it's too bad. It's too bad. let's do this, man, because I talk about you guys a lot, right? And like like you were saying, man, I apologize. Yeah, I've been in your DMs like it's nobody.
No, I love it.
So, that's how I hit up Walker too. So Walker is the other co-founder. But tell me your guys' story. Tell me your entrepreneurial success story of what Fourth Wall is, and then essentially why Fourth Wall, right? Because there's other platforms out there that do similar, but why you felt the need for you three to put your heads together, put up a whiteboard and say, you know what, this is what we're going to do and why it matters from a digital creators monetization perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll jump in and I'll kick
go
over
for
to
it.
you. So we first I should say we were big fans of creators long before we ever thought of working with creators or starting creator businesses. I know I was watching YouTube all the time, and I think Eli was quite a bit as well. And prior to this, I had run a receipt scanner business where it was small, medium businesses and just helping them, track expenses and things. Not sexy, not super interesting, but I thought to me was compelling because it was an opportunity to see what it was like to work with small businesses. And for me, creators are like, you're kind of wearing 10 hats at once. You're not only the chief editor, you're the chief producer, you're an artist, you're creating thumbnails. You got to figure out how to work with the YouTube algorithm to get your content out there, or Twitter or Instagram or wherever it may be. And then on top of all that, you figure out how to make enough money to pay your bills and make ends meet. And Eli Walker and I kind of got to speaking about that, and just there was a shared problem that it really seemed every creator was going through that same struggle of like, how to make the business side of being a creator a little bit easier, whether it was doing merch or selling digital products or launching a custom candy online or a subscription only memberships. It was hard. There was no system that made that easier for creators. And we kind of got to thinking, the three of us put our heads together and used a bit of Walker's experience back in the day at Teespring, and then a bit of ours in terms of fandom, et cetera, and small business building and all that, and tried to really identify where the pain points were in the experience. And I think a lot of it came down to wanting to make sure we always put the creator first and first in everything, right? Eli can talk to this a bit more because he leads it on the support side, but putting the creator first always. And that means our branding is basically nowhere on the platform, right? Like it's always your domain first and center. The quality, we've got a quality guarantee on everything. So if anything ever has any issues, Fourth Wall takes care of it, no questions asked. Like all these little details on the way are really, they're kind of simple things because they make sense if you're using our platform, but they're not necessarily obvious, or they should be obvious, but they're not always obvious. And so we made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of little decisions on that, and then got to building from there. And it took a while, it's like, this is, I thought it was going to be an easier platform to build than it turned out being, but it's, we really put the investment and the love and the care to make sure it was great at every step of the way. And our goal is to make it even better tomorrow and the next day. We're always trying to be 1% better every single day. And that's a real focal point for us. So that's a little bit on the backstory. We started about 4.5 years ago and spent about the first 2.5 years with the two of us, maybe one or two other folks, and about 20 engineers just building this thing. And we only really launched it about 2 years ago. And that for us was a big milestone. And we've seen it thankfully really work since then. But I'll let Eli give your side of it. That was Will talking quite a bit, so.
No. There's a few, we'll touch on a point that's like the ethos that is the foundation of Fourth Wall, is like one of our values as well as creators first, right? And our values, we call it creators. That's an ethos that sort of stayed throughout the building and still to this day, and sort of foundation of our strategy. Is what we saw in the space was there were other platforms that you could use, but then your brand, your audience was sort of shared, right? It wasn't, Eli that you were going to visit. It was someone else, let's call it on the left-hand side of the website. What we wanted to build, it was sort of a full platform where if you chose to, and it was designed more towards that, is put your brand first, front and center, throughout, when you go into the domain, to when you access the page, to when you check out, to when you get your confirmation email, to when you contact support. It was like end to end.
So,
how do we keep your brand front and center?
it's a good looking site James has up there.
Man, man. Come on now. I'm gonna do it the right way.
I like it. And I love that you took like your own pictures and all that, and added a different flair to it. So that ethos has stayed with us, and has been it was sort of the eye opening of, hey, this is something that it does not exist there. And if you want to do it, it's extremely complex, right? You have those bigger, like large platforms that are like sort of e-commerce as a whole, as opposed to specializing creators. And yeah, it's been fun. It's now we're about to turn 5 next month. Actually, in 30 days, we'll turn 5 years old, and it's an exciting time. It's been awesome building, sort of seeing the transition from our first couple years with, like how Will said, with a couple engineers, and how creating a shop took days, sometimes weeks, to now you want to create your own shop. It takes you a few seconds. It's up and ready. All you have to do then is customize it. A few minutes later, you're accepting your first order. Like the difference between our first year and this year, it's sort of like mind-blowing, the improvements.
What I want to talk a little bit about the fact that it's not just merch, right? It's not just the t-shirts. It's not just the hats. It's not just those things. It's actually, you're looking at everything within the content creator, the digital creator ecosystem, and saying, listen, if you want to do memberships, if you want to do promotions, if you want to really bring everyone, if you want to do newsletters, right? So all of the administrative tasks that we do on the side of building a brand, building a community, and reaching out to that community, you've integrated that into the platform and made it really easy for us to, again, have a one-stop shop. Like, I can have subscriptions, I can have memberships, and I've got those integrated here. I can do kind of the one-off. If someone wants to do quick support, things of that nature. I'm not going to mention any competitors. A lot of my community knows who some of those other companies are, and some of those other organizations are. But again, everything's one-stop shop. I got one throat to choke. I can just call Eli. The COO, right? But why that, right? Again, why did you? Maybe I'm answering the question for you, but why did you decide to make Fourth Wall kind of be that all-in, one-stop shop place for digital content creators, and for us to have this one ecosystem, as opposed to again pulling in more integrations with other things?
I mean, I think the simple answer is, as a creator, you're already so busy every single day. You're already managing, YouTube or Twitter/X or Instagram or hundreds of other channels you're on. Why have another 10 is step one, right? Like, how can we meaningfully simplify it? So instead of it's 10 places for your audience to find you, it's just one. And then the second part is these channels cross-sell really nicely. So for example, if somebody buys your hat, James, or a digital product, you can give them 1 free month of your subscription memberships. You can give them, 1 free month of your coaching. You can do all sorts of things like that, right? And those channels cross-sell in a really meaningful and compelling way. I think based on our latest stats, people who claim a free month of memberships in your e-commerce conversion, that retention rate there, close rates, I think around like 70% retention if you claim that. So you're basically using a one-time purchase and driving that into subscription revenue. Those are the little things that, like, when everything talks together, you can really seamlessly drive in a way that's like, all right, I'm gonna have to teach my audience to download hundreds of promotions from, let's say, Patreon or any others. Like, you download all those promotions, you're gonna send them to your storefront and all this. And some creators do that and have the teams to manage it, but it's just one extra step, which makes it harder for your supporters to support you, and it makes it harder for you to manage. And our theory and thesis is always like, how do we make it easier for people that are already insanely busy trying to manage a million jobs at once? Like, how can we just make it 5% easier, 10% easier, and hope that by putting your brand front and center throughout, that'll all stack and compound and really make a better experience for you end to end.
Yeah. And then
go ahead, man.
To add to that is about also thinking like your supporter, right? When you promote and you have to promote like 10 different calls of action, like don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment. And then after that is, don't forget to go to this site, this other site, this other site, this other. So think of it like 1% will subscribe and like right now. Don't forget to subscribe. Then 1% of that will then comment. And then 1% of that will, so the calls of action keeps minimizing, or the audience keeps minimizing the longer your call of actions are. So now it's as easy as, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like, and go to Hicks. What is it? Hicks newmedia.com.
Yeah.
Done. And you just send them to Hicks New Media to check out my membership, check out my merch, check out my newsletter. All there. So it simplifies me as a fan, as a supporter. I no longer have to remember. It's like, hey, wait, I wanted to go to this site. Oh, I also wanted to comp some of his products. But then we are all ADHD nowadays, so it all gets forgotten within 2 minutes.
You talking to me, or you talking at me, man? Because I got multiple screens going on right now. So I'm doing that thing, right? But
yeah.
What I wanted to say right there is, again, you guys get it from the fact that anything that improves or reduces cycles in the workflow, right?
Yeah,
that's where it's at, right? Because again, we're out here doing so much. We're trying to engage with our community. We're trying to bring high value content. We're trying to bring high value coaching, whatever the case may be. But having a platform that does what we need it to do the right way and brings in all of those other integrations effectively as well. I mean, that's just a feather in a cap, and we pay attention to what we pay for. However, the fact that we don't pay for Fourth Wall is an interesting perspective. And talk to me a little bit about your thoughts. For that. I'll get to some of these comments and as well. People are giving some shouts out to Fourth Wall. But again, the fact that you're able to offer such a robust platform, and we the brand, we the owners of the site, and our usage of it, how are you able to scale that in terms of not having us necessarily have to pay for access to Fourth Wall?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the view from day one is what is best for the creators is we put as much money in your pockets as possible and just have enough for ourselves to pay for development costs, server costs, et cetera. Like, we really want to reinvest everything into the business. And as part of that, we felt there was a need to start day one and give creators as much as possible, right? And scale up for that. So we made like a strong starting point that we really wanted it to be free and open to creators as we started out, and then scale with them. So our margin actually doesn't even come out of the creator's pocket for things like the e-commerce stuff. When you use our product catalog, it actually comes out of the manufacturing side profit. So for example, that hat you were wearing, James, I don't know offhand, but let's say that's something like $12. We reveal who the manufacturers we work with at that. There's tons of different ones in the catalog right now. Since we now have a ton of creators using the platform, we can negotiate on behalf of everyone and get a lower rate. So your price that we charge you is the exact same price the manufacturer would charge you. The difference is we've gotten a discounted rate, and baked in there are the fact that we can manage, pay for our team, pay for server costs, handle customer support on your behalf, manage sales tax on your behalf, all these little details along the way. And that has the most beneficial nature to you. So not only does that allow us to make ends meet for our business and make sure you're building on a sustainable, reliable platform, but it allows you to choose your margins and set your prices and make as much as possible. So that's really our theory along the way, is find every angle we can that every dollar is spent investing into creators and into the platform so you can make more. That's it.
I love it. I love and I appreciate the transparency on that, right? Again, because I've been asked that question because from folks who said they want to move over the fourth wall, they come from X, Y, and Z, and use my referral code and come on over. It's going to be in the description. Y'all know that. But again, just that piece right there, because again, like I say, people pay attention to what they pay for. When I tell them, listen, it doesn't cost you anything to come over here. It's just high quality gear, high quality product, high quality service, and things of that nature. So again, thanks a lot for saying that.
Yeah, for sure. Everything's got to pay its bills at the end of the day. And so we try to make it very simple and straightforward on that. But yeah, it's that model has worked super well for us and keeps scaling that way. So
correct.
Love it. Mr. Cox is saying he loves how straightforward the process to set up shop is. Really, really easy when compared to competitors, and love to put creator brands to the forefront. So I completely agree with you on that. Shirley's asking the question. I want to get into this. I'm going to be attentive to the community here. If I wanted to bring my brand to fourth wall, does the brand need to be trademarked and or copyrighted?
I'll take that. So your brand itself does not need to be trademarked or copyrighted. You just can't use art files or brands that are trademarked or copyrighted unless you have permission. Now, in terms of your brand, I think you should consult with a lawyer, but it's recommended always start that process once you get to a certain scale. But at the beginning, just go for it. You don't need any trademarks or copyright to get on fourth wall. It's just good business practice as you're scaling as a creator or just as a business to then go and make sure you're protecting yourself correctly.
Good answer. You had to answer that question before that.
Yeah. I've gotten that question a few times, and I run the support teams, and so you might get me in one of the emails either from the customer support or the creator support side. And a lot of those questions, I usually answer them.
I'll brag about Eli for a second. So Eli runs all things support. I want to say, even with in Q4, which is the busiest season, all through holidays and weekends and that, I think we had an average under 8-hour response times, even when you can include when people are asleep or that. So we try to move really fast. We know how important your brand is to your fans. We know how important it is that you can get quick response times and get to a human immediately when you need to. And so we go super fast. I think resolution times are it's
under 24 hours for Q4. I believe it was 26 hours in Q4. And then first reply was 7.7 hours.
And that again is weekends, holidays, nights, even when people are offline. So we go real fast. And that's our goal, is to always, we know how important it is when it's your business. So Eli's done a great job getting at it.
It's a whole team, right? It's not just me. It's a whole team.
Now Eli's one person. He's on 24/7.
It's always just Eli, right? Multiple screens going. But that's pretty cool metric, right? Again, Q4 holiday. You guys were. So my next question. I mean, you guys were really on a tear, right? Literally, focus on innovation, the focus on functionality. In the last few months, just the integrations that you added, the additional functionality within the platform. Talk a little bit about that, right? Talk about the fact that, again, every other day I'm seeing an update on your Twitter feed saying that you've added the ability to add newsletters, you've added new integrations, you've got new high-end fabrics and things of that nature. Talk to us a little bit about that cycle, and do you plan to continue that trajectory? Because now, see, you've given it to us. Now we expect it to continue going on with that level of deployment.
We're actually getting faster thus far. So we definitely plan to. I don't want to say continue. We plan to beat it, but goal is to keep going quicker and hit quicker. I would say so. So I think Kevin in the comments had mentioned he loves how straightforward it is, right? a lot of that speed comes down to the fact and how straightforward it is that we made this huge investment up front. So we spent, like we've been in 5 years, about the first 2.5 or 3 years, we're just building the foundations in an incredibly modular and scalable way from an engineering and technology standpoint, and then building the systems on top of that for like an operational standpoint when the support team replies, to a manufacturing standpoint, to every step along the way. So when things start to go slightly slower than planned, we have alarms for that. We can track that out. We can really build it. So I think we're finally at a spot where we can really reap the rewards of this big upfront investment in a way that works, that it's fast, it's easy to layer on new logic. The devs can move quick, the product team can move so quick, our UX team can move very fast. And that's really what we try to keep prioritizing is, speed to launch. I think it's really important that you're on a vibrant platform and one that's alive and growing with you while you're growing and not static and kind of falling off. So we really make a point of that. And we're grateful that we were able to make that upfront investment to be able to get there tech-wise and beyond. So
I love it. I'm seeing some folks that are chiming on the back end saying that maybe my microphone is a little faint. Will, you and Eli can hear me without any problem, right?
I can hear you as well. I got my volume all the way up. I can hear you fine, but I'm not sure in terms of like sound levels and all that, but I can hear you just fine. So,
well, listen, I can fix it in post.
Yeah, exactly.
Folks can hear me. That's all good. But I appreciate everyone that's chiming in as well, saying that there was a couple of issues with that. I want to talk about some of the integrations that. So we talked about what you're doing behind the scenes from the operational perspective, but I mean, you brought in a handful of integrations as well.
Yep.
Just to be able to do this, right? Just to be able to have an integration with the YouTube product shelf. That was huge. Right?
Yeah.
That was one of the initial main requirements that I had, right? To make sure that if I'm going to move the fourth wall, that you have that functionality. So you got that. The TikTok shop. Listen, I sold my first thing off of the TikTok shop, the integration, a couple of days ago. That's cool. I don't do Twitch much. I know Leah. I don't know if she's watching, but you guys are huge on the Twitch side. But the alerts and things like that. Just talk to us a little bit about, is this going to continue to evolve and continue to grow? I know you just added Beehive. I know you just added Laylo, but where do you see these integrations going with fourth wall?
We're going to keep adding these as quickly as we can whenever it's a good creator integration. So the only real constraint is we want to make sure it's in your favor or a tool that creators use. I think you can get distracted and just try to add unlimited integrations for the sake of it. So we want to keep some focus and make sure they're really creator specific and benefit creators, which, everything in that list has in common, right? But the goal is to keep moving faster on that. We've got a few others that are in the pipeline that are actively in development, which should be launching in probably the next couple months. We've got a V2 of the Instagram shop integration that's in progress. We've got new improvements to what's the other one? That one I actually need to wait until one thing closes out. But anyway, we have a bunch of others in progress that we're really excited.
Drop some insight information.
I know.
No spoilers. No spoilers. Yeah.
Marketing team will get back.
Yeah, I'm like here, like what is he about to say?
Eli's pinching Will like underneath.
Yeah, I'm like hitting him.
If you can add Substack to that, I would just say that would be the only one that I know you added Beehive, but Substack is the one that I use for the newsletter. So if I got any cool points with the co-founders, you know those guys. If I got any cool points with those, I'd like to put that
for sure.
On the road. Man, yeah. Hey, Chris, I got the right kaboom, man. I do this every day. I got the right mic selected. Got the RCP connected, man. Let me do this. Let me actually see if that changes some of the volume levels. But short and midterm. Let me ask you about that.
Yep.
Because even in this time of evolution, in this time of always developing and always designing something, let me ask, from a short to midterm, 3-6 months perspective, where do you see fourth wall going in terms of its place within the creator ecosystem? What do you see yourself continuing to be? Let me not even answer the question, but in a 3 to 6 months short-term time frame, where do you see fourth wall being within the creator ecosystem?
I was hoping you'd answer the question for us because I would have given us a direction.
I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I'm not gonna
Make it easy. I'll jump and then I'll let Eli tag on. So I think I think at times when you're building, you I don't want to say distracted, but I think it's easy to get in kind of the constant like new feature launching and building and all that. And I think that's really powerful and cool, and it's good for like marketing and sales. But I also think if you move too far or veer too far off your core focus, you can deliver kind of a subpar experience across the board. So this isn't the most exciting answer in the world, but I would say our next 3 to 6 months is just about making every little detail in the platform rock solid. So from the integrations we already have in place to adding a few new ones that allow you to sell better on other socials to making it easier to self-fulfill products from home, etc. Like our goal is to really make what we already have a lot smoother and easier to use across the board. And that ranges from, there's bugs on the platform that we have a list of them, and Eli logs them every time he sees from a support side, and making sure we have a month straight of investment just to fix every single one of those. So there's a lot of little details there that just aren't always the most exciting data points that like you don't always want to shout out. But at the same time, when you're a new user and you come to the platform and everything just works and you don't have to think about it, it's pretty cool. Like I think it's easy to lose sight of that and kind of the constant feature race, but our goal is to really get that foundation, which is probably another 3 to 6 months for everything's perfect, and then start stacking and stacking and stacking and do the next big blitz of new features. I don't know. Anything you want to add on that?
No, Will sets up the strategy. So,
yeah.
He knows better than anyone. But yeah, it's the year is to continue improving. It's the sort of the definition of it.
James, what do you want to see? What's the Sorry, I'm going to flip the interview script for a second. What do you want to see as creator on your side?
I like and I appreciate the attention you pay attention to us, folks that have invested their time and their resource into the platform. So I was going to actually give a shout out to Leah and the Discord community. So that right there, I want to continue to see that, right? Because she's listening, you're listening, the folks are logged on to that platform and paying attention to what it is that we're raising in terms of questions and things of that nature. So I want to continue to see that. Awesome. I want to continue to see different variants in terms of offerings, right? Yep. When I launched my coffee, dude, I've been asking for coffee for a long time and looking for it from various providers. And when I saw Fourth Wall had it, boom, did it. Had a great experience with Roastify, right? Creating the label, creating the deliverable, and folks got it for a Christmas present. So I want to continue seeing that. Again, more than just the same gear, more than just the same hats, more than just the same t-shirts. I like seeing a variation in terms of, listen, I got my own sneakers, dude.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. So that kind of thing, just the fact that there's a variant in terms of the products that are offered. So
that's all also add on.
Just continue to innovate. Right.
Because I didn't mention that, but like expanding what's available in the product catalog is a major focal strategic point for us this year. So there are a number of things launching in the next couple months, but like we're really updating our foundations to make it much easier to launch the next 1,000 products, right? To make it easier for you to find your perfect product for your audience and give that to them, sell that, and make it easy. So we're meaningfully setting the stage for that, and looking forward to being able to kind of stack that up as well.
Yeah, I love it. It's great you mentioned Discord. That's one that I manage along with Myra, the support channel, the whole Discord. Leah helps there.
Yeah.
And it's one that at one point we consider, it's like, is that a right support channel? And we kept it on because at the end of the day, that's where a lot of creators live. It makes life easier. And it also shows the community that we built, like the community that we stand behind on Fourth Wall is creators helping other creators as well. And so that sort of fills my heart every time I go to someone posted on support. And when I go to a reply, I see that creators already answered or they added. It's like, hey, I'm having the same issue. So it gives us that immediate feedback. And then the final one is the feature requests. So for example, we just went through our planning for the first half of this year. And one thing that we did, we downloaded all the feature requests that we have on the Discord channel. along with the votes, and that also gives us an ability to measure like what are the things that you as creator need that we might be missing, right? We get high on our own supply. We either run our own shops or manage shop for creators, so we see something from that side, but we always miss, right? It's always having that voice and hearing what you need that helps us develop the product, right? It should be always a win-win.
Yeah. Shout out to Leah, who's in the chat as well from
I
our
saw.
squad.
Listen, I got Leah. We got Leah in the comments. My God, my microphone isn't up to par, and I got Leah in the comments. Okay, I'm trying to get her to do a shop, review.
Maybe you'll get Leah for the next interview. We'll see what
she's amazing. You got some good folks behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You got some good folks on the team. Yeah. So shouts out to her for joining. Appreciate you. Folks, listen, Cast Ahead. Yeah, Chris Stone, definitely, man. Some folks in the comments, they have a lot of merch and they do a lot of Amazon influencer types of things. This is a place for you to be. I can definitely see you, Cast Ahead, and your folks over here doing some big things. So, and I'm not saying that just because I use the platform. I'm saying that because I believe in you, and I believe in the people that are running the platform. I consider myself, and the folks in my community know, I don't like the word influencer. I like the word advocate.
Yeah.
Right. So again, I will advocate for platforms, processes, tools, software, hardware, whatever the case may be, that I will actually use and I would actually recommend to someone. I actually recommend to clients. And Fourth Wall is definitely one of those. But I told that to Walker, but I wanted you guys, I wanted you, Will, and Eli to
appreciate it
as well.
Yeah. And we're really happy that you're on the platform, right? I mean, I know you're you and you're one creator out of many who use it, but like everyone, we look through these shops all the time. We have like internal Slacks going off of like, look at this person's new launch. This is so cool. Like, we really track it. Like it really excites us to see every time somebody succeeds or makes a change or is a happy, like is building their own brand in terms of it. So I just want to say, shout out to you, James. Like we're thrilled to have you on the platform as well. And whether it's as an advocate or non-influencer, whatever it may be, we're excited to have your site is hosted on Fourth Wall. Like that's so cool for us.
Yeah.
That's
check it out. I was stalling. So
yeah.
Hey, Mama, your boy made it. Look at on the front page of Fourth Wall right
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
There we go. No, and it's really like, just like Will said, we do track it and we do get excited. Like as an example, there was a creator that launched. We had no idea it launched a membership, and it like quickly, like in a couple of days, took a handful of supporters. And so all of a sudden we were like chatting. It's like, oh, this is cool. Like, let's see what the content, and we get sort of excited by seeing creators succeed, right? And it's also very exciting when you stumble upon a shop or a site, they've done something extremely cool that you're like, is that on Fourth Wall? Is that us? It's like you're like questioning because you don't even see it, and we don't even recognize it, and that is a pride for us, indeed. So it's very exciting to see what the community that has been built around Fourth Wall. Something that when we set out to build a product, we set out with building the best product possible for creators. But how creators receive it and how they bound together, that's something that just happen organically and within the community. And so we've been very blessed and happy on how that whole sort of turned out.
I love that. I got one last question that I do want to ask about the platform, and this kind of goes back to what you were asking me, Will. This piece right here, selling digital products.
Yep.
Right, design something new, sell something I have, sell a digital product. Talk to me a little bit about how and if this right here, these options are going to evolve, right? Because again, I can go through and create a product or something through everything that's in the catalog, but do you see this evolving to where ebooks, I don't know, some downloadables and things like that? Is that where this is now, and that's where this is going? Do you see this continue to evolve in the short midterm?
Exactly. So I actually think I might be missing something, but I think these three categories pretty well capture the different types of products that you as a creator can sell. There's perhaps a fourth one, which is a subscription membership, right? But those are effectively the four things that like you can sell online. Digital products today, you can sell ebooks, you can sell music. If you had a digital album, you could sell a podcast, you could sell a bunch of things like that. Where we will definitely evolve this, I'm not sure exactly what time frame yet, but at some point is with this concept of commissions as well. Now, commissions still fall into one of these categories. You could commission Fourth Wall to make something. You could commission sell something I have, which is a painting. You could commission a digital product, which may be a shout out as well, or a one-on-one coaching session or things like that. So this will evolve in terms of the options that you're presented and the behavior you can build around these. But I think conceptually, these are the three types of things, the subscriptions being the fourth, that like creators sell. It's either digital, whether it's an ebook or a digital commission or shout out or any number of things like that. It's something you're going to ship from home or from your 3PL, or it's something that you want to sell through our catalog because we manage customer support and supply chain and all that. So I think it'll be these three categories for a while, but we will definitely expand the offerings in each of these three categories. And the digital products are cool. I can share, I'll have to get in the chat after, but can share like Patrick Sterling has used digital products in a really unique way where he gives away, for example, free digital items as a way to build his newsletter, as a way to then upsell the paid digital subscriptions. So there's like kind of a one begets the next. So there's a lot of power you can do with these different tools, and we're certainly going to expand how this is messaged and conveyed.
Yeah,
I love that. I will say, of everything that you do, the coolest thing that you do, the thing that sets Fourth Wall apart from anyone else, and I hope the microphone is working clear right now because I got something to say. When someone buys something from our shop, we get the text notification, we get the notification in the app, and we have the ability to send a thank you video or a thank you audio message to that supporter. That is the coolest thing on the planet, brother. I really want to give you guys the flowers on that right there. Just us being able to reach out and do that personal engagement, that personal touch to someone who has taken the time, effort, and the finance and the expense to support us by being able to reach back and again have that video message to them. That piece right there really is a thing that really has moved me to stay with Fourth Wall and will never move from Fourth Wall. As long as you've got that, I don't care what kind of merchandise you have. Yeah. Just by me being able to have that personal one-on-one with someone who, again, who has contributed their hard-earned dollars and their hard-earned time and their investment into supporting the creator. That right there is a great thing. So I really wanted to let you guys know that, especially when Leah's on here too, because
yeah.
Talking about
and that is one of the first features that we developed. And the idea behind it is when you're buying from Nike, right? Let's put it there. Nike, you're buying because it's Nike. When you're buying from a creator, you're buying because you think it's cool, but you're also buying because you're supporting that creator. So it's a different sort of feeling or decision process. And what is coolest than the creator knowing and acknowledging that you contributed, that you supported them, right? And so you see it on Twitch, you see it here when you give shout outs as well on YouTube, to when chatters are like participating, but like how cool is it when you all of a sudden check on your email, wait, what is this? And you click on it, it has a thank you. All of a sudden, the creator knew my name. They knew what I bought. They knew that it was my third purchase. They knew I was a subscriber. And so all these little details, it makes the relationship a lot like sort of, it enhances that relationship. And it makes it cooler. I become from a fan to a super fan. And what that happens is then now I want to support you more. And then I will share that to my socials, and most likely my circle of friends usually like similar things that I like. So they might have not discovered you yet. And now I shared it. They see it. They see a little watermark on top and they're like, oh, let me check this out. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is a cool creator. I'm going to start following. So it's like there's a lot of ramifications that come out of something as simple as sending a thank you video. So it's really cool tool, and we see a lot of engagement. We can see like early on, I haven't checked lately, but there were people that were opening like 20, 30 times that video.
Yeah.
Most likely the first couple times were them, but anything after that, it was probably showing other people. It's showing their mom, showing their sister, showing their partners. And so it's sort of showing that like how cool and impactful small 10, 15 seconds can be.
Yeah, just pulling some stats from the recent blog, the numbers behind it. So like there's a human element of it, which I think is the most important. Like that just, it's hard to convey that, but like the results of it also work in terms of like as you're growing your brand, like it's, you see 34% more repeat orders if you send thank yous from your shop versus creators who don't. It increases the average amount that fans spend by $16 per order. And then of 50% of fans that like receive one and make a repeat purchase, over 60% do that in the first 60 days of receiving a thank you. So it's like a really powerful, like, you know, success driver and community building driver. And, you know, I think the reason we built it wasn't for the numbers. The reason we built it was for like the feel good of it, the excitement of it, that like this was, you know, like it's just cool, right? It's cool to being able to directly shout out your fans. Like we feel really like the fact that you mentioned that, like that was why it was one of the number one features we built, because we feel the same way about it.
Yeah.
And it's also nice that like it does drive sales success overall. So you can kind of see that full cycle of it as well.
I mean, I have another stream called Conscious Conversations, right? And being conscious about what you do. And within my community, we also talk about being intentional with your efforts. And that piece right there just really touched on all of those trademarks and all of those feel-good situations that I have as well. So again, that just makes sense. And like what Kevin said, that enhances the aspect that you guys are putting the creator first and making it seamless as if the creator is running everything themselves.
Exactly.
You know, a lot of it is solopreneur, you know, entrepreneur, solopreneur, SMB, but, you know, a lot of us, we are wearing all the hats.
Yep.
And to have, again, something, a platform that handles much of that workflow and takes out some of the administrative piece, dude, sign me up all day, every single day.
It's what we call the boring parts. We'll take care of the boring parts for you. Well, so you handle the fun parts, creating, promoting. Those are the entertaining. Those are the parts that most creators are really good at. Support is probably not, you know, your ideal thing, or, you know, sales tax is not something you want to like, you get overwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
Let's just let us take that and we handle the rest. You know, we handle it with grace. When some of your supporters email your shop support email, it's all handled in your voice, sort of like making sure like, hey, this is sorry about that. Very apologetic, very empathetic. And just the human aspect of service, right, is taking a page of sort of the Amazon and Virgins of the world, where they put the customer significantly first, and that communicates throughout. And then supporters talk to other supporters, and they know that if they have an issue, just email support. They handle it awesome. We try to minimize the issue, but when the issue happens, it's how you respond. And so it's very, it's a cool thing, and it's sort of a privilege that all creators give us this opportunity, and we don't take it for granted, right? For us to handle those boring parts on their behalf, it's a lot of responsibilities.
Listen, man, I'm just gonna let the cool kids from Venice Beach handle all my support. Yeah. Another question here from the community. I want to be cognizant of those as well. Kevin is asking, would affiliate links be something you see adding to the platform so that creators can give a kickback to other creators that are sharing their content? It's an interesting question.
Yeah, absolutely. Realistically, it's probably something that's not on the next 6 months or so roadmap. But it's definitely something we've jotted down that we hear from creators. So absolutely something we plan to support, not something that will be live in the next few months, but definitely coming at some point. So,
and I believe you have the feature requests either on Discord or it's right off the site as well. So we can all chime in at any time.
Yeah, and I'll add. So how we do our just to give a sense. So we just wrapped up our planning session, and so how we do that is we have our team vote on features, and then we cross-reference that with all the Discord votes. And so that kind of like helps influence that. And our team is building on behalf of creators. So basically every feature there is one that benefits a creator already. And our team was like, hey, this was hard for me to do on behalf of this creator, therefore, or these 20 creators, and therefore we should prioritize that to make it easier. So it's a pretty clean overlap. So anything in there we listen to and queue up, and probably of the top 10, 20 items in that Discord, maybe half of them will be starting development and somewhere in the next, either started or in the next few weeks or months. So we're actively chasing that. So anything you like in there, upvote in the Discord. We really appreciate that. It's very helpful for us because it's a nice crowdsourced way to see of what are the problems people are encountering in the real world.
Yeah. And
go ahead, Eli.
And just like I mentioned before on our getting high on our own supply, we also see the pain. We see the pain because we either manage shop ourselves, either because I'm in support and I'm like, a lot of the times, like I'll jump in. It's like, give me access. I'll get this done for you. And then I just jot down. It's like, hey, this took me this many steps. We can't expect creators to do it this way. Or like, hey, this is confusing for creators. And then each one, not just the co-founders, but also the team members, they also either manage or manage on behalf of creators certain shops so that we don't stay too far out from the product and the day-to-day. Because you can get, when you're building, you can then focus so much on the new features and completely ignore what you built before as a collective. So by us sort of using it, I think Will launches a shop every week as a way to see like how easy it is. What are my pains? What are the things that I'm asking myself now? Right? So that we keep that pulse in our product as opposed to our eye only focus on new features.
You guys stay hungry. That right there, just hearing that little piece right there about Will launching this shop every single week and whatever the case may be. With that frequency, again, you stay in, you know our pain, you know the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we're not the ones telling you your baby's ugly because you see it yourself. I'm not saying your baby's ugly, but you see it yourself.
Yeah, you see it. I would say, just sorry to cut off, final like quick thought on that. The test we try to use internally is like, if your family member asks you, or your best friend, or someone who like really should trust, exactly your word, is this the best platform for this thing? If you can't honestly say yes, we need to fix that, and I think that's like a really good stress test of like, are you proud of what you've built? And I think the answer for us is, in the early days, we were building it, so we were proud of it, but I couldn't honestly recommend it. Like today, absolutely. And I think that's like a really cool experience that we've hit. There's still parts that we definitely need to level up and get better on, but on the aggregate, like we're really excited about that. And that's where we're, continuing to invest so we can say yes to every part of the experience, whether it's, product type A or product type B or whatever you want to sell. We want to have that same unified and everyone feels the same way, that like, I would gladly recommend this to my best friend or my parent or my kid or whomever, right, in their lives, that like they wouldn't want to mislead. So
yeah.
Folks, it costs you nothing to get started.
Yeah.
But there is so much upside to working with this team. Eli, Will, Walker, Leah, and a host of other folks that I've worked with have been nothing but A+, right? I wear the gear. I am the brand, and I wear the brand. And listen, I'm continuing to reinvest in the platform and advocate for them. The one last question that I have for you guys: whose signature is that on the fourth wall logo? What is that on the fourth wall logo?
So it's an interesting one, and I'll tell you a secret. And just here, that is no one's signature. Is no one's and everyone's. So the idea of fourth wall in the logo, and you've seen most likely the smiley in between. You might have seen shapes. The idea originally of our logo was to make sure that your art was front and center, right? It was sort of framed by our name. We want to get to the point. It's just something nice that we want to build where it showcases different creators' art and it changes in the site as you sort of click it. Right now, I think it changes from a smiley to like the shapes to a few designs that we have. But we'll get there at some point. But it's about framing you as a creator centered to our brand.
There's a little Easter egg as well. If you go to our homepage and just hover your mouse over the Fourth Wall logo on the top left, you'll see all the. It's got to be on the homepage, so off the blog. Yeah, if you hover your mouse over Fourth Wall in the top left, you'll see exactly. So so that really just showcases that it's, you know, we're a picture frame and it's your art that's front and center and your content and your brand that matters, and we're kind of the static foundation. But however you want to be creative, that's what we're here to support.
Come on, man. Where's my mic drop sound effects?
Yeah.
You guys can't think of everything, but you did. That's dope. That's really dope right there.
Yeah.
We had way more time at the beginning, so we which is a funny story. We actually weren't called Fourth Wall at the beginning, and we had to sit down and try to figure out. We had a different name, and we got a cease and desist to not use that name. And all of a sudden, it's been months using the other name. Imagine someone all of a sudden saying, "Hey, you can't be called that anymore." And so we sat down and we thought through the name, and then with that came the sort of the logo. And this was a really cool sort of way of showcasing what our thesis and what we wanted to build for creators.
I love that, man. You guys have thought everything out and continuing to think it out, continuing to evolve. You got the right people around you. Folks, if you got any more questions, put them in chat, send them to me, DM. The links for Fourth Wall will be in the description, including my affiliate link. I'm gonna make a special promotion just for today because I'm feeling. Now that you told me about the Easter eggs and the fact that Leah was here, I'll make a promo code Leah.
There we go.
20% off everything in this store. Give me 10 minutes and I'll make the promo code. It's going to be Leah. 20% off everything in the Hicks New Media store, y'all. Eli, you guys are. I know. See, that's pretty generous, huh? I'm only drinking coffee right now, but
that's no generous. I'm gonna get one of those focus hats with that. I like it. So.
I love it. Thank you, guys. Listen, I appreciate you. I had Walker on a few months ago, and I said I need to get the other two guys in here as well, and I really appreciate you, Will, for letting me bombard your DM. You've worked with me a lot in terms of, again, leveling up some of the things I wanted to level up within my merch store. And again, I want to give you those flowers publicly and say thank you for that support. Thank you for the CEO of this foundation, of this organization, showing that much support to people that use your platform. I thank you for that.
Yeah.
And Eli, you, man, I've chatted with you and your team from a support perspective when I was setting up the TikTok shop, right? I had some questions about that, but I was able to get walked through on that. So again, thank you for the due diligence in that as well. You guys are running a class act organization.
And we appreciate it, James. Thank you so much for hosting us. I think both Eli and I had an excellent time on this. So we really appreciate having the chance to chat with you and share our story with your audience. So really appreciate that. And then second, for being on Fourth Wall, we really appreciate, having you using your platform and trusting us that you're willing to throw your brand on, our infrastructure foundation. I know that means a lot of where you're trusting your brand with. And so we really take that to heart. And we're really appreciative of it. And that's why, when you're in my DMs, I know how important it is, and I'm always excited by that. So we love having you on Fourth Wall and appreciate you having us on today.
Indeed.
Thanks a lot, you guys. Give me 10 minutes. I'll make the Leah code 20% off in the shop. Y'all be good.